Hi everyone, Vicky here, and welcome to Healthy Superwomen, a series designed for you to discover simple strategies to eat better, feel better, and be unstoppable no matter what is going on in your life. So today we're discussing something that is touching a lot of you who is listening right now. So we're talking about reclaiming motherhood and how to find yourself in motherhood. So I have the pleasure to have with me my guest, Lisa Chin. So Lisa is a fierce advocate of motherhood. So she's not the kind centered about diapers and tantrum and laundry, but she's a kind of mother who likes to be recognized than something more than just a mom. So Lisa, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Vicky. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Yes, and I feel like we have so much to talk about on this subject because we're both mothers. But I would like to first of all to know, why is that important for you to share that message?
Oh gosh, I think it's a really loaded question.
Mhm.
I'll try to keep it short then. The reason why I think it's important is because it all starts with moms. It, our family dynamics, the way that we parent, the way that we show up in the world, what our children see, how they end up showing in the world, it's a trickle down effect, and it has to start with somebody, and it starts with moms. And so that's, ever since becoming a mom, that has become very apparent to me. And so everything that I do now is centered around women. It's centered around empowering them and really giving them opportunities to like think about their life in a different way and pursue things that they want to pursue.
Right. And you had a very special moment when you realized that you did not know who you were on your blog. You shared that on your blog, and you did not know who you were when you became a mom. And if you don't mind, I would like to read just a portion of it because I think it's so powerful. So you wrote, in 2015, I was listening to a podcast while driving to an appointment when I realized I didn't know the answer to this question. I remember pulling into my parking spot outside of my appointment and wondering, what the heck? How do I not know who I am? My new role as a mother had me questioning not only everything about me, but also within me. I have long used words to describe what I am, how I am, and what I love, but none of these words do the whole me justice. I have found that it is in our truth and what we stand for that best describe who we are. I love that. I think it's so powerful. And when you use the word, I am this, so I am that, it always implies a comparison. So I am this compared to blah, blah, blah. But when
Mhm.
you say, I believe in, it seems like the comparison disappeared. And then that's where your true self come out.
Yeah, I think that when we identify with something, it's a loaded thing, right? There's a lot
Right.
of, if someone else can interpret it completely differently. And obviously we ourselves kind of know, but then we bring in like society's, assumptions of that. So like I'm a mother. Well, yesterday I was at the store and they had like one of those plaques of, something you put on the wall and it said, I'll summarize it saying it was mother. Mother, gives everything and loves unconditionally to everyone and blah, blah, blah. And it was like all about the mother giving, 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 giving. And like, if so you tell someone that you're a mom, that immediately, like someone can interpret it strictly as you are a martyr. Or
Mm,
you can interpret it yourself, because if you say I'm a mom and you think about your own mother, you may identify motherhood as what your mother went through and not
right.
necessarily what you went or what you're going through. And you're adopting kind of all these other underlying connotations of the word. And I'm a big like word geek. So it is really powerful in what we say. And when we say, I believe in, it's whatnot. One of my truths is I believe in, I live for the moments where I feel like I
Mhm.
want to throw up, and it's like those moments where I'm so excited and I just like can't contain myself, and like, and that says more about me than it says when it says like I'm a creative person. you
Right.
know?
And it's the feeling. It's
Yeah.
the feeling that speaks, and not just the word. And I remember, and I shared that previously, but I remember when I became a mom, I felt like I was just a mom now. Like I didn't know I went through this too, what you've been through. Like, who the hell am I? Like, what am I other than a mom? And I don't want to vilify anybody. That's not what I'm saying. But for me personally, I didn't know how to find myself back into motherhood. And that was the big part, the big, issue for me.
Yeah, I don't think that we as a society prepare mothers. We don't support mothers the way that we should be. I mean, we birth a human being, like the largest natural transformation I believe a body can make in a matter of seconds.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, and our entire world shifts. No one prepares us mentally for motherhood. No one shares anything besides, oh, this is what birth might be like. And then if you're lucky, you have a doula or a midwife who kind of helps you through the birth journey.
Yeah.
But then, frankly, in the US at least, like, you're on your own for 6 weeks until you see the doctor, and the doctor says, hey, you can have sex again. Hooray.
Yay.
And there's no support for moms. And so I created a summit called the Fourth Trimester Summit, and it was about a huge pillar of it. And the main reason I did it was to show practices that help the mother heal the body and mind.
Mm.
And then I added in all the stuff about the baby in the village, because a new mom cares more about the baby than themselves. And so I added that in because there's an appeal to that. And I also think there's good information. But my first and foremost goal of that summit was to redirect the mothers to something else aside from just struggling those first 12 weeks. And then and that sets the tone for the rest of your experience as a mom. I mean, obviously, 20 years from now, your fourth trimester may not have such a big impact, but like it does. It how you end up parenting your children, the mental state that you're in, the support that you have, the network that you build, the relationship you have with your partner, all of that really stems from, like, it can stem from that one experience during that fourth trimester. And so that's why I created it. My vision is, at Barnes and Noble, there was going to be like a fourth trimester section in the bookstore. And then I
Mhm.
think there should be a motherhood section, but not about like, oh, how to parent, parent through tantrums, or how to connect with your children. Like, how about how to connect with yourself through motherhood,
Right.
and
Right.
how to recognize all those components of yourself.
Right. And can you share, like, what did you do to get back to yourself? What were the strategies, the simple ways that you got back to yourself?
Yeah. So I think, just to sum it up, I followed my inspirations and my curiosities. I I listen to endless podcasts, just because I'm curious, and most of them are on internet marketing. But it's surprising when they're doing interviews on people who have random businesses, how much you can glean from that. So just for me, like, I just tell people, like, go towards what you're drawn to. I was speaking to someone a couple weeks back, and she really loves crafts. And she, as a mom, how often do you have to do crafts, right? That's like a frivolous activity. You spend money, you spend time, and it may seem really like a stupid decision, essentially, right? But
Yeah.
if you think about the energy that this woman, like, she just like lit up when she talked about it. And
Mm.
imagine if she dedicated herself, or allowed herself, really gave herself permission to spend an hour a week, or a few minutes a day, or whatever it may be, or a few hours on the weekends, dedicated to her craft. And then she carried that energy throughout, her parenting, her relationships, even her housework, right? Like, we all have things we need to do, but like, what if we could carry ourselves in a different way during that experience? And I think it's really powerful, because mothers are told to just like take care of the kids and make sure the house is in order, and essentially, just try to get some sleep.
Mm.
And so, yeah, like, those are all important, but I will lose sleep over all my projects. Like I'd rather do than to sleep, because those light me up and they make me a better person and they make me happier. And then I become a happier mother. I'm not perfect by any means,
Mm.
but I feel like that if we can get all mothers thinking about really what inspires them, and it could be their children. If your children inspire you, that's awesome. Like go for it. And then, but there's a lot of mothers who they shut down their desires,
Yes.
and that's not healthy. That manifests in so many different ways, and we're teaching our children to do the same thing. You know, my mom never, did anything for her. She's here taking care of my kids. And she's never done anything for herself, and that was a different generation. And I think that we have a lot of people these days have a privilege of pursuing things that they want to pursue, but they may feel guilty around it, or they may feel it's frivolous, or they may feel that they'll just wait because there's plenty of time later, and they may not see like the actual impact of how their mental health is right now with how it's going to be later on.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned guilt, because we have that constant pressure by the society that, as you said, you're a mother, you're supposed to take care of your kids, you're supposed to take care of your house, you're supposed to do this and this and this and that, but there's nowhere that says you're supposed to take care of yourself. And so we feel as mothers that when we do take care of ourselves, it takes time away from our kids. So that's where the guilt comes, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that's where we have to focus our attention, and we have to find ways to get over that guilt and say, no, no, and think about it in the opposite way, to say, if I take care of myself, that means that I will be in a better position to take care of my children. If I eat better, I sleep, I do whatever I like, I follow my passion, then I will probably live longer to be there for my kids. So that's how we have to look at it, instead of, oh, I can't do that for myself because I'm not spending that time with my kids.
And I would argue that those are all like great, rational, logical thoughts. You can put statistics in front of anybody, but they're not going to change something, until they recognize something significant, right?
Yes.
Um, so like the idea of like being able to live longer for your children, like some people aren't long-term thinkers. Like I'm not super long-term, to be quite
Mm-hmm.
honest. My husband, he like, he invests and like he thinks about the long term, and like I'm not quite like that. So for me, like it's understanding like how I'm programmed and why I'm programmed that way, and how to deprogram myself to thinking that I need to be, sacrificing myself in order to be a better mother.
Mm-hmm.
Is looking outside of myself and seeing like what's impacting me and what's impacting my belief system, and reprogramming my belief system. Like that's why I wrote those truths on my website, because it helped me recognize like what really do I believe in, and like what do I carry with me day in and day out. And that I feel is more powerful than it is to kind of like read articles saying, oh well, if you do this on the weekends, then your kids will, you'll have a better relationship with your kids. Like, yeah, that's great, but like if your kid's crying and you're kind of in the throes of it, you're not gonna like really look at that from a rational standpoint. And when we are, we as mothers, like we are mothering from a place not quite rational, right? And so I think we have to approach the other parts of our lives in the same way, and really like dig deep and like see what hurts, or what lights up, and like kind of follow that, and try to understand that.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think that you do have something that can be the first step that can help mothers to do that. You have a gift for the audience, so I'll let you introduce that gift.
Yeah, so for many years now, I've run a cleanse program, and I have a background in health coaching. And I ran a cleanse program that I've kind of rejiggered for mothers, and it's called Mama's Reboot Camp. And so I have the handbook for that. Usually it's a group program that I run, and we go through 10 days where we eat clean. We also kind of reset our lifestyle and also rethink motherhood. So this is a program that I have found just very effective from like, it just resets ourselves. It helps us reclaim kind of our lives. And it, and I'll do it, once a year, sometimes twice a year. And women just, I mean, I've had people kind of go through it for the first time, like, cleanse for the first time. And it's just helped change their settings. And so I'm really excited to share this with the audience because I fully believe that it's not just one thing. And I also believe that the program, the reboot camp, I call it, it's not about doing everything. It's about taking the pieces that you need to take and giving yourself that grace. So
Yes.
that's also really important to me, is like understanding that you shouldn't be doing everything and you don't need to do everything, but you need to do the things that are immediately calling to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. And for everybody listening who you want to try the Mama's Reboot Camp, then just click on the link in the email you receive with this interview, and you'll have access to that reboot guide camp. So thank you so much, Lisa. Before I let you go, do you have one last piece of advice you would like to share with the women out there listening?
Oh boy, one last piece. So let me see what's calling to me. Well, I think it's just that, what's calling to you.
Mm.
What's calling to be created or to be, I mean, I'm big on creating, right? I think that women are natural creators. So what's calling to you to just to be discovered within yourself or even outside of yourself? What is, begging for your attention aside from your children?
Yes.
And I think that once you follow those and start, you know, figuring out what attracts you and what's lights you up, we're gonna, the world's gonna be a better place because of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you today, Lisa.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. And thank you, everybody, listening to Healthy Superwomen series. Um, take care. Take care of yourself. Prioritize yourself. And take the Reboot Camp Guide. And I'll speak to you later. So have a good day, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.